because they're the ones who are closest to it, all right? Because content is that most important element, but it does require that regular input and regular update. I mean, Beth Cantor, again, has a lot of great tips, for example, for using Facebook, and talks about, asking questions and things like that. Again, these are great things you can also be doing on your website. So here's kind of a funny graphic about website development and the importance of content. That if you don't have that great of content and you go through website development, that's the kind of website you get. And then folks talk to me about, let's do search engine optimization. It's like, great, well, then you get this slightly less crappy website. So it's just really important that if you start with good content and you have a good flow of content, that's going to make all of these things, your website development and doing optimization for search engines, really much more impactful and worth your time and resources. And for most organizations, when they need to think about their strategy, I talk to them about the 3 threes, all right? And again, if you don't have a handle on this, I'd recommend kind of putting this on your to-do list. One is to understand, who are my 3 primary audiences? Sorry, my contrast isn't very good there, but it says 3 primary audiences. All right, who would you, is it bears, eagles, and salmon people? Is it, donors, program participants, stakeholders? Who are my 3 primary audiences? Who do I think they are, all right? Then, what are the 3 things that I want those different groups to know? What are my priorities? I've got lots of things I'd like them to know about, lots of programs, but what are my priorities about what I'd like them to know? And then people come to websites to learn and then to act. So the third thing is 3 things that they can do. Can they, make a donation, sign up for the e-newsletter? Those are fine. But what's the third thing? And if I've already made a donation and signed up for the e-newsletter, what else can I do? Do you have a list of things I can do as a volunteer? Or, and especially if you're dealing with lower income populations or other diverse communities, are you asking them for things beyond donations? If I don't have money to give, can I provide a service or make something for your bake sale or whatever, or donate something to your giveaway like happened just now? Things like that. So I think that's really important. Talking about layout, outside in and inside out. And apologies to anyone who speaks Russian, but to me this was just a great example of, I have no idea what this says. One example, I'm going to pick on one of my clients, who's the Sisters of Notre Dame de Namur out in California. One of my best clients. But we had this discussion because we were talking about navigation for their website. And they were talking to me about vocation. And I've heard of vocational schools, and I'm like, wow, they know nuns like welded and fixed cars. Wow, that's really progressive. They're like, no, none. Vocation means, entering into the vocation. I'm like, oh, well, how about on the website we put become a nun? So that folks who aren't and don't know that language, like me, understand what you mean, okay? I get that that's your language, and that was challenging for them. They're like, well, no, this is what we call it, and this is how it is. So luckily we agreed on, and what it says on their website this day is exploring religious life. Great. I'm like, great. I can. That's understandable to somebody who doesn't come. So again, think about what language do you use internally. Almost every time I do a website audit, there's some reference to, the VRTSA program or the PICA program. I don't know what that is, and so so might not a lot of people. So think about what are our typical visitors' mission and goal on the site. Like I said, people come usually with a mission and a goal on your site, what they want to accomplish. And think about, is our language really clear? One of the participants in one of the workshops that I gave out recently said what they do is, when they do a piece of content, apparently there's a tool in Microsoft Word that will tell you, this is the grade level of understanding of this. And that what they really try to do is make sure that nothing's overpinned at the 6th grade level. Not because their visitors are smart, and they're not trying to dump things down, but for a lot of us, and for a lot of your constituents, English may not be your primary language. Yeah, or you may have, they may have language challenges or all sorts of things. So that can be one way for you to make sure that things are really clear. All right, and then bringing content online. wow, I've got to get rid of this green. It's just not showing up here. But what it says is, what do you publish? All right, do you have things you already publish, like an annual report? I know some nonprofits that what they do is they have an annual report, and over the coming year, they pick out pieces of that annual report, and that content goes up on their site, and they connect to it on social media, so that they've got like this ongoing stream of content. Who do you serve, and what do you do? You know, it might be the everyday stuff for you about this is how I do my job, but folks outside the organization don't know, well, how are you cleaning up streams around Pittsburgh? You know, how are you providing parenting skills to parents or things like that? So think about, can you give folks a window into, you know, a day in the life of our social worker, of our, you know, of our scientists, of our educators, whatever it may be, all right? So thinking about, as I said, what do you publish, who do you serve, what do you do, and how do you do it, all right? And then asking yourself also, when you print things, I work with a lot of small and medium-sized nonprofits, and for a lot of them, the most popular pages on their website are pictures of events. So, do you have it set up? Because as you can imagine, if you have an event and you take all these pictures to, you know, lay it out and print it in full color and have 20 pages and send it out, that could cost thousands of dollars. But with a good content management system, with a digital camera, it's easy for you to be able to take pictures and, you know, the next day upload them and have them on their site. And then boom, out goes an email to let folks know that those pictures are up. Oh wow, is that you, Jeff? We hear music, so I'm so but think about, you know, how am I going to put this on my website? Again, this is a visual medium. So, you know, how is it going to be different? Again, one of the things I talk to my clients about too is chunking content. You may have something that's, you know, rather long and detailed. The web isn't really a place for detailed, big picture learning. But whenever I, you know, come across something that's more than a couple pages, I'm going to print it out and, you know, read it on the plane or read it somewhere else. So again, I'm not saying to dumb it down or put it into sound bites, but can you break up the content? Because it's a lot different when I'm reading something. I'm following kind of the author's narrative. But on the web, I can create my own narrative and my own experience, and I can bounce around. For example, if you put your annual report up and you've got all the sections up, I can skip around to the different sections just as I would like flip through it if I had the physical one. So thinking about how can I break up that content so folks can get directly to what they want, information about our staff or our finances, things like that. And like I said, a lot of my work is helping organizations and teaching their staff about contributing content. Because oftentimes when I talk to kind of the non-marketing and communication staff about contributing content, it's kind of like, you know, I guess it could be like, you want me to do what? So again, it's educating them that, I mean, I deal with this organization, it's all lawyers, and so, you know, legal speak and everything I said, footnote and bibliography and 5 pages, and letting them know, you know, someone came in, you told them what the law was regarding immigration and what their rights were, you know, you set them on the right path, and they were really happy and left. You know, great piece of content. Especially if you can, you know, follow that narrative over time. That, oh, they came back, they filed the paperwork, they let me know that that had been, you know, that had really improved their situation. Their stress level was down, and they knew they were on top of it, things like that. So understand that, you know, it comes with resistance. You know, Jeff and his colleague did a great job this morning talking about change. You know, doing this kind of change. So you may have to think about it, where your culture is, about, you know, contributing and sharing content. But again, things like letting them know what good content is and having that editorial calendar can kind of smooth the path and help it make it easier for multiple folks to be contributing content. So I thought I'd take a minute and just kind of show you kind of graphically what kind of the different looks are. And, you know, I regret to say that I actually took this screenshot within like the last 6 months. So this is kind of, you know, an older kind of, you know, where it's got, you know, kind of tiny stuff, really text heavy. Okay, so this is kind of the home page, the old style. Right? More of a current style is this, where, you know, the navigation's a little bit clearer. You've got, you know, clear donation things. You've got, you know, a search function, a little more graphic. All right. But kind of the new style, what I'm seeing more of now is this kind. really graphic, again, really clear and simple. This is our work around housing, around harm reduction, around health, around case management, and bringing the stories forward. So I can, look and I can see images, I can click and find out more about these stories and how is your work affecting folks. Then I also ran across this, which is homepage no style. Okay, old style, new style, and no style. What is fascinating to me about this site, however, is it has all the correct elements that you should have in a website. They've got a donate now button. They've got a sign up for your e-newsletter. They've got, what's new. They've got their e-newsletter that you can download. So it was this real, for me, this really kind of, they even got RSS. This really kind of bizarre thing where it's like, well, they've got all the function, it's just not presented well and it's not packaged well. Because if you've ever done website development, you understand there's kind of the functionality and the programming, but then there's kind of the look and feel. And oftentimes, I know for organizations, they often need to go to two different places. One to do the graphic design and one to do the programming. Because oftentimes, the kind of right-left brain things, oftentimes one organization isn't that strong at both. I know some are, and that's becoming less of a thing. But so, yeah, just to understand that you can have all the elements. They're even on mobile. It's on your cell phone. Like, wow, I can't believe that. So anyway, I won't pick on them anymore. But your website metrics. If you're not on top of your website metrics, I strongly encourage you to do that. What has worked really well in the small and medium-sized organizations I work with is creating a monthly report. It's one page. It goes out to all the staff and to the board, and it says, these were the 3 most popular pages on our website this month. These were the 2 links that were clicked the most on email. These were the couple of posts on Facebook that got the most feedback.